So now that the dust has settled from E3 and all of the companies have showcased all of their brand new titles coming out for this next year or two maybe, it's time to do a quick roundup and see what we get to look forward to. So let's jump right in. Okay, first of all we've got Gears 5. So we got another kind of like teaser trailer featuring Billie Eilish's track Bury a Friend, which pretty much shows the protagonist for Gears 5, Kate Diaz, kind of tearing herself apart and having, you know, these little weird head things, all with that emblem, which, if everybody remembers, was retrieved at the end of the last Gears game. And other than that, we don't really have an awful lot to go on. But we did receive a bit of a glimpse of a all-new game mode, which is coming to this Gears title, called Escape. This is a game mode which will see three characters, each trying to escape a hive after planting what looks to be an explosive device, and trying to escape the hive through hordes and hordes of enemies. I can actually see this being a pretty fun game mode. As well as worrying about all the horde, you know, that's kind of ahead of you and your exit out of this hive, you've also got to take into account that this bomb that's just been planted is on a timer. So it's kind of I think it's going to have a good balance of tactical cover shooter with a little bit of Rambo. They have come out and said that this game mode is definitely going to take quite a bit of teamwork, so we can expect to see Gears 5 out on the 10th of September this year, so keep an eye out. Next up is a new title, Ghostwire Tokyo. So while we didn't get any Elder Scrolls this year from Bethesda, we did get a little tease into new horror title, Ghostwire Tokyo. So why is there all the hype around this one? Well, so this is the latest project from the man behind titles like Resident Evil, The Evil Within, and The Evil Within 2, Shinji Mikami. So if this title is going to work out anything like those, get ready to shit those pants again. The title itself looks to be focused around the disappearance of citizens in Tokyo, and it looks to kind of aim towards more of a supernatural kind of horror. So I'm interested to see how they kind of develop that going forward. It was mentioned that we're expected to see kind of like a mixture of normal and paranormal activity, and the way that it was described was it's up to the player to decide which is which. The tagline for the game that has been thrown around is "Don't fear the unknown, attack it." Which is a little bit weird considering all it kind of goes against every other aspect of those other titles that I just mentioned as well. So I'll be interested to see how this one kind of pans out. One thing's for absolute certain, it's definitely another horror title which I'm going to have to play, so probably get some videos out of that as well. No official release date announced just yet, but I would imagine with this one we're probably going to be looking towards 2020 instead. Third title on the list, Borderlands 3. Oh yes, the next installment in this crazy, fun, ridiculous shooter, loot, schluter I think is the term that they're throwing around. We got an excellent trailer once again incorporating that graphic style that they use, as well as some old favourite characters and some brilliant references, like Claptrap getting beat once again by the stairs. There is a free DLC pack which is coming out that they announced there and then, which is going to hopefully lead Borderlands 2 right into Borderlands 3 as well. Borderlands 3 drops on the 13th of September this year, so get ready for some more schluter madness. Next up, Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, Square Enix once again have treated us to some more trailers and even some gameplay footage this year for the game, which has been anticipated for 3 or, you know, probably even more years if you count all of the rumours that have been floating around as well. We got treated to a good look at the in-depth combat system as well, which uses the ATB gauge, is kind of similar to the Final Fantasy 15. So I'm really looking forward to see how that pans out. We got a good look into one of what I think was one of the first boss battles in Final Fantasy VII, where Barret and Cloud take on that great big scorpion tank as well. And it does look like the combat, but it's pretty intriguing. There's dialogue throughout all of this as well, so it kind of keeps you, you know, in that moment as well while you're in that fight. It has been confirmed that Final Fantasy VII will be released in chapters, and it does look as though the first chapter is all going to take place in Midgar, where Cloud and Barret, along with the rest of the members of Avalanche, are trying to take down Shinra. And if all of that wasn't enough, we finally got to see old favourite character Tifa in action, punching and kicking away through multiple enemies as well. I think fans have been kind of crying out for that because so far Square Enix didn't really release anything. We saw Barret, we saw Cloud, saw Jessie and a couple of the other characters, nobody had ever really saw any glimpses of Tifa in any of the other trailers as well. And on top of all of that, we got a release date as well. So ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars, March 3rd, 2020, take the week off work, take 2 weeks off work. I know I will be. So this seems like a good little point to drop in Project Scarlet. Now, in my previous video, I mentioned that I didn't think Microsoft were going to come with any hardware unless they were maybe going to kind of show off one of the VR headsets or anything like that. And I was kind of right, but we did get some specs on the new console. Here's some of these out. 8K resolution, 120 frames per second, and processors which have been designed in partnership with AMD, who many argue are pretty much revolutionising their side of the market as well. With the new console being expected to be available to everybody come around about November, December time in 2020, I think it's pretty safe to say this is going to be on everybody's Christmas list, including mine. But if they're bringing out a new console, they're definitely going to need a new game to go with it. The first for this next title was that it pretty much launched the original Xbox as well, so it just seems fitting that once again Project Scarlet is going to be launching alongside Halo Infinite. Master Chief at 8K, 120 frames a second. I can get behind that. That's not a bad shout at all. Yeah, as mentioned, Halo itself was probably the title that really launched the original Xbox. I remember at the time getting that console, and I'll be honest, there wasn't really an awful lot else out for it. Although they haven't given much away in the trailer, it has raised a few questions. Who is the pilot? Why is that Halo ring broken? And just generally, what the fuck is going on? These are all questions which I definitely plan on finding the answers out to, so roll on 2020. Next up, we have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, Star Wars game, check. Story-driven game, check. Linear gameplay with growth to a new character, check. Canon with the rest of the Star Wars universe as well? Well, shit. After the announcement trailer a while back, we were finally treated to some 15 minutes of game footage, and I think it's safe to say that nobody was disappointed with what we saw. The gameplay shows Cal, a young Jedi accompanied by his new droid companion BD-1, who by the way is just fucking adorable and cute as anything. We see Cal assisting Saw Gerrera take over what looks to be a mining facility, looking to free some Wookiee captives. Throughout this 15 minutes it looks as though we saw multiple different enemy types, different troopers, some elite enemies in there as well to kind of keep you on your toes. We also got a couple of force abilities as well, so we saw things like slowing down time, or slowing down troopers, and blaster shots as well, which was really impressive. And classic old favourite, the old saber throw. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those in action some more. The combat system is something that they're describing as thoughtful combat, and it's easy to see why. With the different types of troopers and enemies that it looks as though you're kind of going to be coming across, it doesn't look like the kind of game where you can just jump in, swing a saber, and oh, there, everything's dead. Whether or not that feeling continues throughout the entire game once your character is fully upgraded, because it does look as though they're using a skill tree kind of leveling system, is yet to be seen. Either way, we don't have too long to find out, as Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is out this year, November 15th. Moving on to the next title, Watch Dogs Legion. Yes, the next title for Watch Dogs has been announced, and I'll be honest with you, this was probably one of my favourite showcases of all of E3. We seem to get pretty much everything for this. We got a background as to the whole story, we got a brilliant gameplay trailer as well, and we got an official release date. With the ability to recruit any member, any character throughout this Watch Dogs world, I think it's probably going to create some funny moments, some funny dialogues, some really creative situations in how the combat's going to work as well. Each recruited member looks to have their own kind of set skills, their own set abilities, so I think it's definitely going to be a case of picking the right person for the right job if you're going to take back post-Brexit London. On top of that, it looks like every recruit is connected and is kind of communicated by this AI called Bagley, who seems to add like a really good comedic value to it, as well as being, by the looks of it, just pure savage. Watch Dogs Legion drops on March the 6th, 2020, so mark your calendar. Now, Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, I don't really even know what to say about this one. What better way to drop your trailer than to have it star Keanu Reeves, and then for the man himself to make an on-stage appearance. Just about everybody in the audience at that moment in time was on their feet as this man came through the smoke. They utterly lost their shit. It's kind of like CD Projekt Red were thinking, how on earth can we top the Witcher 3 trailer and announcements? And then good old Keanu was like, bitch, hold my beer. And if all of that wasn't enough, we finally got the release date, so clear your schedule, take the week off, April 16th, 2020. There's definitely a lot more that's gone on E3 as well, so a few honourable mentions. I'm going to say Fallout 76 as well. We'll be getting NPCs back, and it does look as though they're launching a Battle Royale mode as well. We saw the announcement of a Blair Witch game, which the trailer dropped for and pretty much gave everybody the shits. After years of anticipation, fans of the Baldur's Gate series are finally going to get Baldur's Gate 3. Square Enix showed off the new Avengers game, and pretty much everybody said, hold the fuck on, that's not Robert Downey Jr.'s voice. Elden Ring, a title involving George R.R. Martin and the creators of Dark Souls, has been teased as well, and I think that one could be an absolute epic. Although they weren't at E3, EA announced Volta as part of FIFA 20, which is kind of bringing back that FIFA Street kind of vibe to the series. So I'm interested to see how that works. And by the sounds of it, there's a lot of character customization as well, so I think that could be a really fun one, to play online with friends, even just that kind of sofa game as well. A reimagined version of the 1993 Game Boy Classic Link's Awakening also drops, and we'll be seeing that on the 20th of September 2019. On top of this as well, Nintendo did drop a big bombshell and pretty much announced to the world, oh yeah, we're getting another Breath of the Wild kind of sequel as well, so I think everybody's looking forward to that. No official release date or anything, probably still in the works, but if it's anything like the original, it should smash records everywhere. We also got a title from the team behind Assassin's Creed Odyssey called Gods and Monsters. And it looks like an interesting concept. We didn't really get much, if I'm perfectly honest, but considering how Assassin's Creed Odyssey worked, how that whole world kind of reacted, that could be an interesting title. That's one to keep eyes out for. And without a doubt, there's definitely titles which haven't even made this video. I mean, with E3 coming round at this time of year, there's only so much you can kind of squeeze into one video. So with that being said, let me know what your favourite moment of E3 was this year. Even let me know what titles you were hoping to see. Maybe what you were disappointed with. Let me know about your whole experience throughout this E3. Again, it's a very different kind of video style for me. So if you have enjoyed it, please do drop me a like. Subscribe for future videos as well. And I'll see you in the next one.